Cheryl is in Portland. Cheryl is in Portland.
Ledcor and BIM Kitchen.
Nobody likes the table.
Hi. How are you doing? That's Jill. Nice to meet you.
Did you hear?
I think I attend on many of your.
No. Oh, check their Instagram.
What was that?
I think I attend on in your meetings.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yes.
Do everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, happy to see you.
I imagine
Yeah.
they'll have a contract. They have to work there
Yeah,
several
that's-
years
Yes.
at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
They just
Nice.
they took a big paycheck.
Okay, I'm so happy to see you in person.
Yes.
You should
I
have.
learned a lot already.
You would which?
You
Learned a
started
lot
the
from
fall.
you.
I thought I was going to say that.
Sure. No, after you.
Wow.
Guys, please don't be shy if I'm on your way, okay? Because you can. Is it, I thought they have online as well, don't they?
They do have a clinic meeting going now.
Okay.
He's your manager. Do you do training?
Pardon me?
You're a consultant, so do you do training?
Yes, sometimes, but so far it was for the internal team.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and Canadian private colleges. Yeah, I teach Reboot. Architecture, yeah. Yes.
Oh, wow. This is way more people I thought.
That's a good sign.
You can shut that down if you need to. Hello, yeah, you're good there. I'm Joe. Nice to meet you.
That's where that
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. I just said hello. Let me introduce myself. My name is Puyan Zadeh. I'm a founder of Pyramid Innovations, and when I'm not busy with that, I'm teaching at UBC Visual Design and Construction, and I'm very familiar with crowds, active agile crowds. So, hence, apologies if it gets out of the norm a little bit. Anyways, welcome everybody to our reboot session of BIM BC. We are super happy to have you here. So I'm gonna start the conversation a little bit with a few slides, and then after that, we will pass it on to our speakers.
And Puyan, just sorry to interrupt, but just so people know, if you do have to use the washroom, the men's is just past the elevator to the right. The women's is just as soon as you exit to the left. And then there's, if we need to evacuate for whatever reason through the stairs, it'll be just to the left, and there's going to be a stairwell down. If you get out, you will need a fob, so I'll try to keep an eye. And we have Francois too, and Eunice who are helping, just so you can gain access back, because it is get locked.
Great risk management. Okay.
Thank you. Safety first. You reminded me, so.
Yeah.
And then the Wi-Fi for the guests is open, right?
Right, yeah. So if you need the Wi-Fi, there's a code right here.
Awesome. Anything else? Fantastic. So, I'm taking you on a journey of like where everything started, very brief journey. So, BIM BC started in 2007, and it was around, and it started growing and growing with getting more and more regular meetings. When I joined BIM BC, it was around 2017. So by that time, there were monthly, bi-monthly meetings there. It was very agile. There was almost a turnout like this as the photos that I put here, so it can suggest. So you would see a lot of consultants coming, a lot of nerdy conversations going on as well. It was heavily Revit-based at the beginning as well, and then got a little bit more diverse as we progressed. And then it was a combination of being a place for networking, as well as talking about technology, showcasing different things. People had this opportunity to come from different companies and show what they are doing, what is the latest developments. And then pandemic happened. Pandemic happened, we moved to the online setting. This man tried his best to, Edwin, to do at least 4 or 5 online meetings in a year, but it fizzled. So to the end that last year we had only one event, and we thought there was a lot of inquiries. A lot of people would reach out and ask, like, when is the next one? What's even happening with this group? So we got together quite a few times in the past 2 months to figure out like what we want to do, where we want to go. So, and this is like the outcome of those conversations. This is the first one, and we are hoping that's the first of many, and we can revive, giving it a CPR, if you will, and then so go to the next step, and hopefully also growing this. We looked at the RSVPs, and we asked the question, who is for the first time here, and more than a half are for the first time here. So which means actually the community is growing. So and in innovation, especially in a very how can I say, not very dynamic, industry like construction. Innovation requires a lot of advocacy, a lot of support. So, and this support comes from this kind of community. We need to like kind of break the silos between the different organizations and try to really help each other to be more successful, because success of BIM is success of everybody, right? So the way of rebooting the ideas that we have, the big ideas that we have is, first of all, we want to broaden the community. Like I said before, it was a lot of consultants and designers involved. We love to have them back for sure, but we want to also expand it to the builders, have the owners at the table, and see different use cases for BIM. Broadening that means also that we want to move beyond building information modeling. So we want to talk about the building information management as well, and seeing how can we manage a project with BIM as well, in addition to the newest ways of modeling complicated designs and, if you will, even computational design aspects of BIM and so on. So we want to broaden these conversations so everybody has this opportunity to contribute and talk about how can we use this great technology for our success. So the focus is going to be for this community, first of all, on networking, knowing each other, knowing faces. BIM requires also a lot of trust, unfortunately. I don't know AI, how AI is going to disrupt BIM, okay? A lot of people ask me about that, but until that point, we do not have a lot of quality assessment methods here. There's a lot of trust going into BIM. So what you see is what you get, and you need to trust people who are working on your project. So it is very important to actually know them and see what they are doing and where they are coming from and the reasoning of how they work as well. The second part is we really want to be an education hub. So we think that peer-to-peer education is a very good way of broadening our network and having also enriching our local community as well. And this is maybe something new to advocate for BIM, really. Like, what are the obstacles for BIM being adopted in projects fully from the start to the handover and beyond, even during the operations and maintenance? What are the obstacles there? So we don't want to only talk about solutions and great examples. Failures are famously learning opportunities, and we want to really talk about them as well. So if you see any opportunities related to that, please engage. So what's next for us? Money is always a problem. So this is a community run by volunteers, so we want to stay that way as well, so we do not have any bias. This is something that we are currently working on, so how can we finance next events? Digital representation, so I don't know who has seen the BIM BC website? Hands up, yeah. What is the dominant color there? So we want to change that. We want to revive it. We want to rejuvenate it, and have finally an email address that everybody can communicate through that. And also planning for this year's events. So we don't want to have only this event and then go away, come back, try it again in 6 months or a year. So we want to create some sort of continuity here. So this is what we are busy with right now behind the scenes. So if you want to engage, you can be a sponsor. So today we are thanking Fusiontek and Joe to be here, and all the catering of food comes later. And then also, if you want to provide your space, so we are happy to take your offer. So, and thanks to AE for hosting us today. So, everything went well so far, right? So the access was great, and I know it's after hours. A lot of companies have this kind of building locks down automatically. It's really hard. Somebody needs to stand there, and thank you, Francois, for that. And then share your experience, right? Positive or negative. And for that, thanks Joe, thanks Xenia, and thank you Bernad. I don't know Bernad, where are you? Oh, there. So, and we're gonna have them speaking with that. We prepared also a feedback form. So it's about like, how do you want us to organize these? Like, we used meetup.com this time around, and I don't know if that was like super efficient for you. If you are suggesting another way of communication, please do that. We are definitely going to create a mailing list and communicate directly with you for now. So you can add your personal information on that form as well if you want. I will leave it for a few minutes. With that, thanks so much. Our first speaker is going to be Joe from Fusiontek, who is going to talk about Solibri, maybe? Yes. And then after that, we will reach back to you. Each presentation going to be 15 minutes around that, and we take 2 questions. Because so here's the thing. Speaking of experience, it's just having 3 speakers is a lot. So we don't want to go on and on and on with questions. So we want to have 2 questions, and then after that you can have one-on-one questions. How about that? And then networking. It's very important to talk to each other. Okay, this is okay. We don't want to have monologues here much. Thanks so much. With that, Joe, the stage is yours.
That's 4.
Yeah. Nothing can go wrong. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to switch to your computer?
No, you. We have PowerPoint on here.
Oh, okay. Where's it?
I don't know. This one down, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Can you see it? Perfect. Is this presentation?
Yep.
Yep.
Slide.
That was the black.
I
Do not use this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about function F5?
Jesus Christ.
It's in a
I think you need to make it small first. It's maximized. Make it small and then just try that. Not that one, next to it. And a slideshow.
How about this one?
There we go.
That's good, okay. All right, I'm gonna start the timer. I don't wanna get. Okay. I can't believe how many people are here. This is unbelievable. So, I'm trying to keep it entertaining. I'm trying to throw some stuff out so something sticks about me, you know. I come from an AutoCAD background. That's how old I am. Autoless programming. I've trained many people in ArchiCAD and Revit, and I'm also a Bluebeam and Solibri certified instructor. We're resellers. We're a small niche reseller of software that includes Solibri and some other software. And I'm based in the Okanagan, not Vancouver. I'm based in Summerland, which is halfway between Kelowna and nowhere. Is where I live. And I'm from Edmonton though originally, and I'm a recovering contrarian. I'm trying not to be that guy, but I always am that guy who wants to do something different. And I'm trying to stop doing that unsuccessfully. Let's talk about BIM for a few minutes. Do we have this experience at sometimes that I keep cutting the board and it's still too short? So think of how much effort has gone into BIM, all the millions of dollars of time and effort and modeling, and yet we sometimes still have the same fundamental problems. The board is still too short. Don't you agree at times? Now, I don't have the solution for everything, but we're going to talk a little about how we fit in. So, mental health tip. This is the essence of quality control. It's basically find the issues before they find you. And they will find you. So, whatever we can do to find them first, that's a good thing. And that's really all the value proposition. When we talk about Solibri, we'll get into what that software is and how it fits in. But it's really, if it could just do one thing, it could just help you find the problem sooner. Cost goes up as time goes on, right? So the longer it takes you to find that issue, or for it to find you, the costlier it is. And even if we can just move it, just back a little bit. Especially into a different phase, right? Before we go into construction documentation, before we go into construction, we move to pre-construction. So the quicker we find that issue, the cheaper it is to fix. Is that fair enough? Is that fair? So, when it comes to quality control and checking for things, one clash is not the same as another clash. For example, a BIM checkup could be a basic clash detection. It could be like going to your doctor and asking, you know, for a checkup. He takes your temperature, hits your knee, weighs you perhaps. He's checking for obvious things that are wrong, your blood pressure. And that's good. We're not knocking clash detection, and that would be the equivalent in my mind is clash detection. But if they want to check for something not obvious, what do? They take an extra. So this is a deeper type of analysis. Not necessarily replacing the first, but it's deeper, right? So in the BIM world, this could be checking for property, checking for data. Not just modeling stuff, data. Not just what thing hits another thing, but what thing might interfere with the free space of another object. How about something that's just not even there at all? It's not a clash because it doesn't exist, and it should be there. That's a different sort of thing, right? That's not obvious, right? Would you agree? Classifications, constructability, there's another one. We can model it there, we can build it there, can we maintain it there? And even building code analysis. Does this mean code? So would you agree with me that there's two different types? There's different levels of quality control. Same with BDC managers. We have many BDC managers in the room. And here's two BDC managers, but they have different needs. Or maybe today they have different needs. I need to do a quick clash detection, and I just want to check some clearances, right? And Keisha's like, no, I need this thing perfect. We need to adhere to the highest BIM quality control. Which one of these is not a BDC manager? Well, they both are, right? But through the lens they're looking at, they have different requirements, right? So then my question for you is, what clash are your clashes? What level are we looking for? How deep are we looking in, right? And I would suggest that there's 4 classes. Now, this is where I'm going to try to structure Solibri into this. Perhaps you've never heard of Solibri. We'll talk about that in a second. We have your product R. This is in the box model interference checking, right? Spoiler, that means Revit. Some people, I hope no one in this room, but some people do check interference in Revit. It does happen. And product N. Well, that might be a Navisworks level, right? I would kind of argue that that's like 2.0 of interference checking, right? And product C is when we get into a little deeper model checking, and then product S is actually like a complete quality assurance thing. Okay? So let's go through these. If we're going to check things just in Revit, it's kind of easy and fast and cheap. Although Revit's not cheap, you've already paid for Revit, so it is cheap to do. But it's really not great. So I'm sure we're not really doing this that often. What about the Navisworks level? We're not here to trash anyone. Navisworks does a lot of wonderful things, including 4D. So you get clash detection, you get some filtering, you get a much more optimized 3D experience with Navisworks, right? When you combine Revit models, it's a pig. Navisworks optimizes that. It's useful for federating. Navisworks will federate more formats than anything else on the planet. So that's really cool. But you need to convert to that format, and it's mostly limited to a clash detection. One thing hitting another thing. For the most part, that's what Navisworks does. Now, Solibri Checkpoint is a product. It's not this. Solibri is a product out of Finland, or a company out of Finland, owned by Nemetschek, which is a competitor to Autodesk. But they've had a product called Solibri Office, or Solibri Model Checker, for many years. They bought out this other product. And so they bought out the product. I can't remember the name, but they renamed it Checkpoint. And what it is a really remarkable, it's a web-based model checking program. It works with native RDT, right? That's pretty cool, and IFC. It has robust filtering. It's rule-based, so it'll check for clashes, properties, and free space or clearances. So more robust than what it'll check for. And it also connects directly with ACC and Procore, right? So either on importing the models or on the other side on issue management. The challenge is that it's 3 rule types, but that's actually what a lot of people use. And it's limited right now with BCF options. Okay. The first class is, I believe, in the industry, Solibri. There's almost 60 rule-based checking templates in Solibri, as opposed to 3 in Checkpoint. So there's 60 templates that you can create thousands of rules. Solibri can check things it's spatially aware. So not just does that water line go a certain place, does it go through a place that has computers in it? is there a space that's allocated as a computer lab? And we don't want the water going on top of it, right? So Solibri can check things spatially aware, right? And lots of robust BCF options. But it only works with, the challenge is it only works with IFC files. And the interface can feel somewhat advanced. So the what class are your classes? At what level do you want to take the investigation, right? Let's just talk about Solibri checkpoint, what we can check in there. So can we check for a clash that are not actually clashing? So this door, all doors in BIM software are all modeled shut. Ever notice that? On the floor plan they show open, but they're always modeled shut on the model. But can you check for something that's not an actual clash? That's not a clash, because that door is shut. But when we open the door, it will be, but we don't do that in BIM models. So then it's actually a free space check. Let's take a quick look. This is the first product, Solibri checkpoint. It's web-based. So we see our IFC and our Revit models here. We just add them. Very simple interface. Right. Check my time. Okay, so we add those models. Now we're just going to quickly look at it to make sure that yes, all the data is in there. So we'll do a basic. This is not going to impress anyone. Try to through it, but we have federated those three models. One was a Revit file and two were IFC files. Okay. Then we go to my rules, and it's the basic rules. We can either validate properties, do a clash, or do a free space, or a clearance check. So when we run the free space on the door swing, we find out most of our doors are good. Okay. So I'm just going to research for our results, and we'll take a look at things that aren't. So you can see the ones in green passed, and the ones in red, the door is going to hit something. Right? So if I click on that, it'll take me to the actual clearance check, right? And then, we almost covered the whole interface of the program. We will just go over to issues, and we'll create an issue, and we'll just show what we currently support. ACC, BIM 360 Procore, or Solibri checkpoint internally. So then we create an issue out of that. Potential clash or a clearance problem, right? Mechanical to me is one of the areas that should be all over, could be all over this for clearance to their equipment, right? Specifying distance that they want. Mechanical is always fighting for space, and they do it for the right reasons, that they want to keep their stuff so that it's maintainable and safe. All right, that's Solibri Checkpoint. That's the new product. It's all web-based. Works with native RVT. Let's switch to the Solibri Office. So here's two different models. The light switches are a different model than the doors, but they get federated. Or I consider it harmonized in Solibri, but we don't need to get too much into my contrarian ways here. In the harmonized model, they're in the same model, but normally those are two different models, right? So can we check if there's a light switch 1 meter from each door in each space, so spatially aware? We can. So what we're going to do is, this is Solibri, it's a standalone product application. Here's all the rules in Solibri that we can access, all the rule templates. This is kind of like the family editor in Revit. We start with the templates. I create a component distance rule. And what I'm going to do, you can see the option that we can say, I want the horizontal distance, right? It could be vertical, it could be other ways, between my doors, and then what components do I need to be within a certain distance of my door? Well, there again, we can select things through any number of ways. I'm just going to select it by the type name. I'll show you a different method in the next example. And basically, we're just gonna, these are the Revit family types, names. So it's called single pole, and I'll add another one for a triple pole. Three-way, okay, there we go. So, do we have this within the clearance of a meter of the door? I want one of them, and I want them in the same space. Okay. How else could you do this? Can you do this in Revit? Now we're going to go to checking, check the model, component distance. So those are all the rooms that don't have a light switch within a meter of the door. Right. Take one last example. Is there at least one drain in every room that has water? Okay, now we have two problems here, right? And again, way out of the realm of all, I think everyone else. I don't think anyone can do this. First of all, we have to know what a drain is, but that's pretty easy. Secondly, we have to know which rooms have water. Now, when the Revit data or the data comes to us, it might be, we might have to filter that data. So in Solibri, what we do is we add a classification that allows us to say, okay, some rooms are called men, some rooms are called women, some rooms are called this. We're just going to take all this information and we're going to make it into a classification so that, is that working? Yeah, so that we can basically say, this is a washroom, or this is a room with water, or this is a lockable room, or this is a secured room, this is an IT room. So I'm just browsing my ugly Revit, my ugly model there. But basically, this is different. First of all, we have to find all the rooms that have water, right, and group them. Okay. And this is by making a classification in Revit. I'm sorry, in Solibri. So what we're going to do is we'll go to classification rules. You might have to fast forward this because it gets a little awkward watching and type. But basically, we're saying any room that's named men's becomes a washroom, right? Now, if there's an easier way to get to this, if it's classified properly in the Revit model or whatever IFC model, then that's fine. But if we need to sort through the data here, this is how we do it. Okay. I'm just going to keep going through this because this just kind of shows how we're able to take all the bits and pieces and the broken shards of data and make it into a classification. Okay. Now what we're going to do is use that classification in another role. Okay, so we're going to go in here and we're going to say number of components in space. Right. So now what we're asking is, do we have at least one drain in every space that is a washroom or has water in it? Okay. So I think I'm almost done with my time. Oh, 16 minutes here, and I'm almost done. So now we go to that classification we just created called spaces MEP. So now we're grabbing all the MEP objects. Now we can tell it within that space, within the space that we designated as washroom. So I created all this, or my counter room. Then we want at least one of these components, a floor drain. Okay. And because I'm running short of time, I'll just fast forward. Okay. Well, maybe we'll let her. And we'll go back and we'll check our model. And it did find some rooms. For example, that room did not have a drain, and that room did not have a drain. So it's by combining the power of the classifications in Solibri and the complex rules, or the robust rules, that we're able to find that washroom doesn't have a drain. So, Solibri checkpoint. No nonsense model checking, no muss, no fuss. Remember that was the web-based Solibri? Okay. Solibri Office, when good enough is simply not good enough. Or my alternate theme for the BDC guy, that has to be that guy, right? When you have to be the guy that finds the problem and wants it corrected, right? Solibri for the win. Any questions? Okay, we have 2 questions.
what is the next step in this collaboration process? Once we have identified the issues and we have documented the issues somehow, we need to communicate with the designers, and then the designers need to decide what's going to be a solution, and then communicate back and fix everything. So that's already support that workflow. I mean, the issue tracking somehow, or another platform.
Yeah, so I do, like, obviously there are a number of programs out there, like BIM Track, I think has been renamed. Contend is a software that we work with, ECC and BIM Cloud. So they all have ability that you take the issue that you find in Solibri, you synchronize it out, you send it out there, then it gets assigned. And then the IFC will eventually get republished, and Solibri can check it again and verify that it's been resolved.
Just kind of a seamless process.
Yes, but you need another software. Solibri, Solibri itself, the standalone, does not do that, but it integrates with almost everyone except for Revisto, which is, I know.
You can export as well BCF.
You can export as a native BCF as well. Yeah. Okay, second question. Go ahead.
How do you link all the models into this? Because like you do have like updated models, usually weekly or bi-weekly, and who owns the data? Like, is it sits on APS, or like it's your own cloud?
Yeah. So this is the thing about Solibri. Again, it's different with Solibri Checkpoint and Solibri Office. But we'll talk about Office. Office does not store data. It's not a platform. It's a standalone application. But when it gets the data wherever it gets it from, it actually compiles it into a single database. So it'll pull in all these, it'll embed all the IFC data into a single database, right? And remember where that link came from. So it's kind of the equivalent of having in Revit, you can link something, or you can insert it, or you can, Solibri does both. So it embeds the information in the Solibri model, but knows where it got it from. When you update the model location, you have the option of updating that automatically, or having it alert you like an XREF would or a link would. But Solibri itself, other than Checkpoint, Solibri Office does not store data. It needs to find the data somewhere, and then it needs to export the BCF to somewhere else. So it's a bit on that. Okay, if you have any more questions, please feel free to talk to me after. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Can do the transition to Xenia.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you were able to open my link.
Yes, it's open and available there, and we are recording everything. So, in the meantime,
I've been watching,
and this computer is open. You can find it. It's on the Opera browser. Yes. So I met Xenia at this event actually for the first time, 2018, and I guess in one of the very first photo or the second last one. So you can see that is that memory is for always recorded. Fun fact about both of us is we graduated in Germany, so we have German education background. That bonding for sure. Without further ado, I will hand it over to you. So you're going to talk about, she's from Etro, but she's going to talk about BIM Kitchen
Yes,
today.
yes.
Fantastic.
Good enough? I'm glad you're at this can. Because Kitchen is a tasty place, to definitely invite you to read the content of the web page, because it's very juicy. I personally really enjoy that. Yeah, and exactly how Priyan said, it's actually very significant for me to be here today. Because exactly, I think in this picture you captured Annika sitting behind, and I'm sitting in the front with Ashley. And Ashley worked back there in Elliston. And exactly in this event, Annika was visiting from UK, and she was exploring BIM world in Vancouver, planning to move to Vancouver. And she basically came to this meeting with her CV. And after the sessions, she was reaching out to all of us and introducing herself and sharing, yeah, so I'm the BIM girl and I'm looking for a job around Vancouver, moving like a few months, finalizing my papers. And I checked her CV, and like exactly being from Europe, I saw Arab and nuclear energy projects, and I was like, holy smokes, this girl, like, we need to her us up. And back in the day, looking in the direction of Marcelo from Elisdon, yeah, so I just brought her CV to my boss. I was working at Elisdon as a BIM coordinator, and so it's like, look, this girl, she has like something like this, like no doubts, she will bring a high value to Elisdon. So she was hired, and we were working together side by side. Then time passed, and we both switched the dark side to another dark side. Annika started to work for Turner Construction, GC, and I went to Edro as a GC. So both GC kind of competitors, but the issues are still the same, right? So we are not receiving proper requirements from the clients, trying to figure it out how we are building it, no money, contractors don't know what we're speaking about. And so Annika and I were like, okay, so reaching out to conferences as well, speaking a little bit more. But it was an issue as well, like back in 2018, again, the COVID started, and the events that were hosted from CanBIM back in the time, right? So nowadays it's Building Transformation, who doesn't know this organization. I'm still blaming that why they're not coming to Vancouver. Nothing is happening to Vancouver, we're on the West Coast. If you're coming to the event, there's like, excuse me, it's still very men dominated. I don't think that it's changing soon in the construction industry, but I'm very glad to see some girls here. So I think that's definitely, we need to support each other. And yeah, so Annika and I were like, oh, we just need to create something what we could speak to and speak easy, speak about BIM and creating the world which we are living in and wanted to share with others. And it's exactly how the BIM Kitchen was created. So myself, Xenia Gordienko, and Annika Chan. Yes, we wanted really advising the BIM culture around us and advocate for that and doing as smooth, as open as possible. Because what I faced here, it was kind of like, secret knowledge. Somebody has this knowledge of this software, somebody has this knowledge of how to create these families, but on the end of the day, BIM is all about open speaking and answer easy questions, right? The other issue was as well, like if I said, oh, I'm a BIM coordinator, where it was like, oh, do you Revit? And like it's like, oh, well, yes, I do. I have that installed, but actually it's not what I do. Yeah, I'm even though the modeler in Revit. Yeah, so there's a confusion about software, which honestly is still kind of the same of people. And the questions what I'm receiving now are, do you do Revit or don't? It's like, what software would you recommend? Or what software do you use, right? Again, confusion, speaking about BIM as a model and BIM as management and all flow, what is it actually about? Yeah, so we really wanted to stand for educating as well, saying, okay, what is it actually about? What is the BIM? With this, I would say, so BIM for us, and this kitchen stuff. So we spoke about the space where we could come together, like in the kitchen, like the party. So that somebody is cooking something on the stove, somebody's doing in the fridge, somebody's pouring the wine, and you're just like chatting, and you're taking a look what your friend is doing, and you're kind of like, oh, I got it finally, right? Like kind of looking over the shoulder what somebody is doing on the screen. Oh, I got it, right? Like, oh, that's what you mean. Oh, that was easy. That was not a big deal. Yeah, so exactly like Joe presented us to Solibri, and yeah, so the concept was pretty straightforward, right? Like, what is your issue, right? Like, what you would like to check on the design concept. Yeah, so what we do and what we decided to do, it's some more workshops on culture, obviously, and I know that some of you, looking direction Mike now, join our workshop on cooking spaghetti with the tomato sauce. So the whole idea is that we are not longer speaking about BIM project, we are speaking about basic of cooking. Yeah, and what do we need for cooking? Like, I hope everybody has kind of skills how to boil eggs. You still need to have a person, you still need to have a chef, and this chef will be in different level of skills, right? My mom was better than me in the kitchen, right? And some professionals will be better than my mom. And so it's a 5-star or 1-star chef. Then we have a processes, and we still have processes in BIM, right? Like, what is my workflow? How I'm getting this data from architects? How I'm getting this data from the client? How they wanted the asset management being registered? What is our classification? And then we have, and the last, we have the tool, right? So there I'm having a knife, my Excel spreadsheet, or it's something more efficient, like Dirofos, and I'm flowing my data in something more sophisticated. So where I'm spending this effort or getting more expensive, more proficient thing, right? So then the game is basically we're cooking the spaghetti with tomato sauce, and then we are opening the cards. It's a card game, and then we're speaking about quality of your BIM project, how well it was set up. And so open the card. There's not real winner, obviously, because it will be balanced, right? So it can be better balanced or worse balanced, but in fact we know that it's where your money went, what you wanted to focus on. Have you invested the fast tool like a processor, or you just still with the cheap one like a knife? And yeah, so we're pretty successful on this because people are stopped thinking about something complex like BIM. They just think about like, oh, how I make my dish, right? Like how I wanted to have this quality al dente as a pasta. And then we can speak a little bit more about the BIM projects. Yeah, so this one is big, and basically how it looks like on our end. We wanted to educate free, and this is exactly where we are running in different big events like Buildex and CCW. We were hosting the workshop as well by request. Hopefully next, we had as well a session on Lean. It was online session on challenges in BIM. And the next one, I think it's a coffee time on Lean, where we kind of as well, obviously will be a little bit prepared what we are speaking, but people are welcome to comment popcorn-wise to ask us the questions, how how to do BIM. Just because, again, like the idea is there's no silly questions. It's like, it's really like, it's no secret. It's, and yeah, it can be, everything can be compared to food. So what I want to share as well, that the techniques and all this education, it's kind of our prep, right? So we are preparing to get there and cook, but at the other side, it's support. With support that Annika and I providing, it's kind of immediate jump on the projects where I got the BIM requirements, I don't know how to deal with it, BIM execution plan has to be redone because some contractors are coming where we can, like, from any perspective, like from the side of the client, from the side of developer, from the side of the JC, even to take a look on like, okay, how it can be adjusted, how the information can be flown smoothly, what is the main goal of the project. Yeah, so basically how you serving your kitchen, right? So we are now in the running the dinner. The kitchen is full on fire. How I can navigate through without really thinking, okay, how I learn how to create this dish. And the last but not least, what we are focusing on, and it is the biggest one, it's the BIM strategy, right? Like what restaurant we are running. And here we got a request from like company to, so the request will be, I'm doing that, and I would like to get BIM. So how I start my BIM department, how so where to start, who I have to hire, how's the profile of the person looks like who will work for me. Here basically like how we standardize this process of how to help company to get there. It's first we will do assessment, right? Assessment of like what exists, what people are doing already, what works, what doesn't, what tools they're using. Again, they work, they don't. And honestly, it's very often not about the tools again, it's about people and processes and what is the main issue and main objective of the business. And BIM, it's became, honestly, it's just like add-on, like a technology thing, right? So it's like instead of like asking, Sean, could I get your phone to write an email? I will have my own phone, you know? So it's like technology-wise, just getting something on board and it's just flowing, right? And then the end result of the BIM strategy, it's a roadmap for the company where we will say, okay, this is what where you at, this is what you wanted, how we are getting there using technology out of the market. And it's like slow process where we will work through like what again processes has to be reestablished, who has to be hired, and there's as well like maybe even not hired yet because people ask me, but there's so many subcontractors that now got a request to model drywalls. Yes, they do, and they don't have capacity in any case on their staffing to create a BIM department from one day to the other. So they will be slowly engaging there, and then they said exactly what I can do with the available BIM viewers, right, which are free. Like, oh, this talk I heard today, I'm really curious to see the free options there. How I can get design models and analyze this and come back to the GC with this BIM request, what I see there, what we could do better, how I can improve my delivery as a drywaller, and then you're stepping up, okay, maybe it's a young individual who is doing estimating and eager to learn something new, and we're getting in there some cheaper modeling software, right? Or maybe we are looking for somebody who will take us by hand and learn how to model in something more sophisticated. And exactly the next level is obviously you are hiring your BIM manager, and here we are helped as well to establish a career path for BIM people, because it's one of the main issues as well. Where I'm working, we're still being a dilemma, like what are these people, what they're working, because there's some project where you have full-time assigned BIM coordinator, and when exactly this BIM coordinator became a BIM manager, if he's a BIM manager or she's a BIM manager, when she became a senior, and so on, like what they have to achieve, so they're clear career path. And unfortunately, guys, this is another one. I know many people who decided to quit this path, because there's like, it's no development, right? There's like, I'm assigned to this project, I'm a coordinator, I have all these tools, I'm supposed to do that. And then next one, I don't have these tools, and then I'm a coordinator and have all this important work. And yeah, so there's an importance as well on speaking to our leaders. I'm asking, okay, who I am if I'm a BIM coordinator in 2 years, or what I have to do to become a BIM project manager or BDC project manager, right? Like this is as well, because it's a kind of new thing, you need to establish it for as an employer, I would say. Otherwise, you will not hold people. And it's not only about education; it's about clear path. What is their expectations and responsibility? Yeah, so this is it actually in my presentation. What we do, so we educate how to cook, we support alone in the kitchen, like how you're running your kitchen, and strategy, matching the mission of the big company. So again, there's a lot of free things that we are doing, and by request providing something more specific, and I actually really would like to see more of BIM BC. I think it's very well aligned with the BIM BC, what the BIM Kitchen does, because we exactly, again, just wanted to educate, putting content out there, having easy conversation, opening the floor to the questions, like how I do that. So in my view, I was last week on Ottawa Building Smart conference, and there was a lot about ISO 19650. And it's absolutely great that this international standard that speaks and involved BIM, and it's really needed if we're speaking about large, particularly government projects that everybody knows the abbreviations and what we're speaking about. But then it was a question from a gentleman who asked how the certificate helps me with my OMM manual. And obviously the person who speaks for the certificate couldn't answer him directly. He just said, well, you still need to do your work. So with this being said, yes, there's a big certifications which are important, elaborating on the large projects, but if you are working on one project, you are just a little piece of it. And sometimes what you really need to focus on is understand, okay, I'm receiving this data and I have to provide this data, right? And it can be just LOD, it can be just asset management, it can be just BIM execution plan kick off how I'm running the show and what I have to ensure that people are exchanging files. So I feel like there's a lot of complexity as well. Once again, there's some secrets that hold back, but on the end of the day, it's just like you said as well, we just wanted to do our job, like a structural engineer, right? Like we just wanted to do that, like why I should now be certified in the ISO. Yeah. So I would like actually to ask you guys, what are current challenges you're facing as a BIM expert, where you see you really need support?
Technology adoption.
Technology adoption, so how you're scaling, right?
Yeah. Training, scaling up, making it more ubiquitous as a tool.
Yeah, to support your question, the change management, it's very necessary for adoption this technology. There is some other part is change management that you have to force the team. They want to adopt BIM. They want to do innovating. I mean, be the greatest of the project managers with adopting BIM and all those things. They want it, but when they're going to do it, actually, there is a resistance to stay back to their knowledge that they had from past. And that resistance, it really needs a change management that I believe, this is what I actually do as well underneath, that do some change management as a training for the team, either the designers, project managers, and executive team.
Yeah.
That's a necessary part, I think, that this is my challenge too. Yeah. Yes. That's a part that is separate, but we have to get it along when we are adding big technology in a company. They love the idea. They love it. They want to say, yeah, let's do it. But we actually have to do it. You know what I mean? So that change management, I think that's a thing that it has to get along as BIM execution plan adoption.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Parallel.
Yeah.
And it has to be consistent in the trainings, because if you just leave them alone, again, they're gonna redirect.
Redirect and
till
leave it like
yes.
Antonio, you told me that, so like it was requirements from the client to run the whole builder scan, but the superintendent had never opened the 360 photography, you know, so exactly the change management or like options were not spoken that this is the tool and this is requirements, but it helps so much to run the quality control inside as well. Like it was like requirements, but nobody cares, right?
Yeah. That's a big challenge.
One of the other challenges that I face is when you come to the software development side of the BIM, there is a lot of variances in at least BC's construction, like even level naming, the hierarchy of data for every element that you want to use. It changed from one consultant to another consultant within the same GC. I think that would help trades a lot to develop their own tools, and like companies be more open to develop their tools. So a consistent naming or hierarchy of the information is something that hurts me at least.
Oh my God, I feel your pain. The naming convention.
Code is just going around them.
Yeah. Any questions to me as you shared your pain points? I guess exactly. Maybe other pain that you experienced, like I guess Brian and any other BIM BC organizer as well, taking it and thinking what can be. I definitely can contribute to Marcia, your point on the software scaling and the change management. Yeah, so I'm very long in this. I started to do BIM back in 2007, and obviously with the time, as I just started to share like what I do, it was like cool, and people were engaged, and they really want to understand. And then it goes to the point that you really need to explain deeper what you do, and then it kind of became that you need to sell it, right? Because really like big guys wanted that you will sell it. So after 15 years, so now I'm over, but like I said, like I don't want to sell any more BIM. I really want to work with people who want to do that. I don't want exactly to do, so there's a strategy out there that as a manager I was told, you need to identify in the project team a person who is tech heavy. And first started to speak to her, to him, to engage him with the software, and it's so sad. We're exactly coming back to the change management. Like you're not longer selling what I need to do. We're just doing that, and I know Antonio as well, like advocate for that. Yeah, we're just doing that. It's like it's no option. It's like that's your responsibility. This is our it's our responsibility. This is our assumption. It's our expectations. How we do it. This is your contract. You do it. Yeah. So that's a lot to it. I think that's definitely a session worth to plan ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I have a last question, guys. If we are meeting next, what you would like to have on food? So it's always pizzas usually.
You shouldn't tell them, but what's a surprise?
Yeah. Any foodies out there?
Sushi.
Sushi?
There's a sandwich place. Like, I forget the name of it now.
Oh.
Yeah, we always get it at our office, but I forget the name.
Oh, you have
I
to
remember
come back.
I'll shout it out.
Well, can you walk us there?
No, probably not.
Because space for the next BIM BC.
If I can remember the sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get the right sandwiches. The railway.
Railtown.
Oh my
I
God,
know.
the sandwiches are so good there.
That's a great point too. Hand it over to Bernad now for our final presentation. Until Bernad puts it on. So fun fact about Bernad, I met Bernad, I don't know how many years ago, just 2016 or something. As I started teaching at UBC 2017, like Ledcor has been always like a constant guest speaker in our class. I guess there are some of my students here, or former students here, so all of them experienced, like, to some level, Ledcor presentations, which are always very colorful and engaging and exciting. With that,
thank you, Puyan. Thanks, everyone. It's an honor to be here with like-minded people in this kitchen. So I don't think I get the setting right here. How do I?
I guess it's extended mode if you go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, I know it's dinner time. Everybody had a long day at work, so I'll try to keep it short. So thanks again for coming. I thought what I would share today is just, one of the beauty of working together. Just I'm with a GC, Ledcor, but what I'm trying to highlight is one of the successful collaborations that we had with an architect engineer on this mass timber project. As we all know, one of the new initiatives with the new government, they're going to be focusing a lot on prefab mass timber. So I thought this might be a relevant topic to share. So before I start, we typically start with this acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are presenting on this traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam people. And then the agenda for today, and start with a quick safety moment. Just as we are approaching summer, just be mindful of some things that we want to prevent within our day-to-day. Just follow, always check local restrictions before lighting any fire. We all like to go camping sometime. Campfire safety, keep it small, attended fully extinguished with water. No littering, never toss cigarette butts on the ground or out car windows. Off-road vehicle caution, and there's a call number there for any incident out there. So just something to keep in mind to protect our community. So a quick intro of our company. I've been with the company for 10 years. So Ledcor is a group of companies. We operate in different divisions: building, communication, environmental, forestry, infrastructure, mining, power, properties, and transportation. I'm part of the building group. And I'm a senior manager for VDC, or we call it Virtual Construction Services team. I've been with the company. I just had my 10th anniversary in March. Yay. So it's been a long haul. Yeah, thank you. I've met some of you before on some of our past projects. So today I'm going to share about some of the BIM applications on mass timber projects. So this is our team, Virtual Construction Services, and some of you might have heard of 4D simulation, where we connect BIM model, basically 3D model plus time. That's what 4D is. And then 3D quantity takeoff, we leverage the model that we got from our trades or consultant and do quality check and quantify, in this case, mass timber contract area or volume. And then augmented reality, there's some, emerging technology out there, just keep changing every time. If you go to AU, you always see new vendors that come up with different technologies. So I was attending AU last year, and I could tell there's quite a number of vendors who introduced their new AR technology. Class detection, I learned a lot today from that first presentation about that new Solibri tool, so that's really cool to check out. Last but not least, on this project, we use drone to document our progress. So just quickly on that project, this is the British BCIT. If you're unfamiliar, it's a campus here in Burnaby where we're just wrapping up the project. It's a mass timber student housing project, well needed for the campus. I graduated from BCIT myself, so so this is about couple of years into construction. We're just about to finish. What we did here, basically, there's a couple different integrations that we did. Point cloud, as you see there, to show the context of the site, all the trees. There's quite a quite a lot of trees surrounding the project site. So in the beginning, we did a study by flying a drone and incorporating it into this 4D software called Fuser. Then we could link it to our project schedule and spell check our dates, make sure things are aligned with our construction schedule. Again, this is a super helpful way to visualize how the project is going to get built, even for our client, for the consultant, for our trades. This gets updated constantly throughout construction because construction schedule shifts here and there depending on the site conditions. So next, quality takeoff is a lot of you are working in Revit. It's again a good way to leverage the tool that we already have to just quickly quantify the volume or contact area of certain elements of the structure or envelope. Obviously, this is something that we have to check internally first, whether, we all know the models are not necessarily modeled to LOD 300 or 500. So there could be overlaps, for example, between columns and beams, columns and floors, that could result in added volumes unnecessarily that we need to make sure we clean those up first before. So, again, it's a quicker way to validate the numbers with our estimating team or our project team. Class detection, we're talking about probably level 1 or 2, that's quite advanced, but at Ledcor we do incorporate a higher level of class detection where we don't necessarily just look at the 3D models. We digest the 2D drawings where things that are not modeled. But I like the automated process that was introduced there. Definitely looks pretty powerful there. Just really quickly, the video of Revisto. We are using Revisto as our platform of choice for class detection, class automation. Recently, they introduced this class automation tool just in the last 3 years, I would say, where we could do all of that class automation in Revisto. There's a lot of settings we can customize to meet our project needs. So this is that mass timber project, BCIT, where we integrated various models from our trade partners, including the CLT model and the prefabricated modular envelope system. Again, that was modeled by our trade partner as well. So we could see all the connections with the mass timber. And then the plumbing model by our mechanical trade. Next, we'll see the HVAC model as well. So why do we spend all the efforts modeling all these systems? It is a lot of the, especially in a mass timber project like this, we want to make sure all the penetrations are captured in the model, because once they are fabricated in the shop, they get shipped to site, and want to make sure we don't drill extra holes in the field. It could happen, but we would want to minimize all of that. It could compromise the structural integrity of the mass timber itself, and it's not typically good practice. So we spent a lot of effort during the pre-construction stage, having the trades on board, modeling all those systems, so all the penetrations were captured, and happy to share that that was all worth it at the end. So just again, we collaborated not just with the trade partners, but also with the architect, structural engineer, all of those issues, make sure they were part of all the whole process. Any redesign that had to be addressed, they were all taken care of during the design stage, most of it. So that was really a good collaboration with the team. I already explained some of the models from the trades that were federated there. Just to show a quick example, so those are the level of detail that were modeled by our trade. Basically the nuts and bolts, including the holes for the connections in the mass timber in CLT, as well as the connection for the envelope to mass timber with the steel angle. All of that was modeled as well. And then this is in the shop how that CLT was about to get shipped to site with all the holes already punched through. So that was really nice. In Revisto, we track the number of issues that we coordinated. So in total, this is slightly outdated. I think we captured over close to 3,000 issues throughout the course of the project. So that was a lot. it all depends on how we group the issues. We keep learning on maximizing or improving on how we can make it easy for our consultants, our trades to digest the report. We don't want to necessarily create like hundreds of items because it takes time to review, right? So we constantly improve on that end. So, but yeah, last but not least, a couple more. Augmented reality. Risto, about a year or two ago, introduced this augmented reality feature that you can use on your iPhone or iPad. Basically, we went to the same project with the model that we already have from our trades. We overlaid it with the site condition, and we could see any deviations. In this case, it's hard to see, but we could tell in the field that there's conduits here. It cranks up a little bit as opposed to running horizontally like this, so they crank it up a little bit there. Thankfully, it didn't cause any new issue in the field, but again, just exploring this new technology. I'm not saying that we are adopting this fully, but we're constantly testing like how far we can take this new technology, right? So this is one of the newest one that we tested. Last but not least, drone operations. So a lot of companies out there already utilize drone on their projects. So this is just a summary of that project. So basically, we have advanced drone pilots within our group who goes to project sites, some of the project sites, and this particular project, we fly drone almost every month, a couple times a month. So this is capturing the whole duration of the project in a one video. So you can see what's the progress of that project being built from 2023. So yeah, it's a beautiful site. You can see mountains. The building's now already built, so if we go to the top floor, we can see that North Shore Mountain, so it's quite nice. But yeah, those of you who went to BCIT will be very familiar with the site. So yeah, so just to explain, so they have steel core. This is a hybrid project, hybrid structure, meaning that there's steel and mass timber element to it. So the shear wall, the cores are made of steel, and the rest, the floor structure, they are all CLT with some steel columns. So yeah. So yeah, that was it.
What's your drone and platform choice?
Yeah, same question. We use drone deploy.
What?
Drone deploy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's what's nice about drone deploy is you can predefine the flight path. So every time you go back, it's gonna follow the exact same path. It's good. It's good for pre-planning and consistency. Yeah.
How is the decision-making process for the level of BIM that you're gonna implement on the project? For example, in this one, did you have like the owner requirements, or was
there was a bit of that, and then it's important to understand. I'm not saying every project is to this level of detail. It's down to the project owner requirement. This one is a design assist project, so we documented the requirements from the BIM side in our BIM execution plan from the get-go to make sure everybody's on board with the process. It's not always easy, as we all know, right? That's why everybody here has a job to share this knowledge and bring awareness of the benefits, right? At the end, I mean, the way I see it is less paperwork and design changes during construction, right? For everyone, right? Like the less changes, it's usually better. But yeah, it had a lot of positive feedback on this because very minimal changes in the field. There's some other issues, but in terms of the benefits of BIM, it was a huge success. Yeah. Thank you. You're welcome. That was
Third question.
Yeah.
CLT, usually there is a big lead time, correct? 10 month to 12 month, and this being a design assist, like, when did you start like sleeving and coding? Like, because 10, 12 months usually lands on 60% design. Like
Yeah.
it's way before the architectural freeze.
I think we started engaging the trades input and even our BIM process are as early as, I have to go maybe 30%, even very early, yeah. Because we knew that this was a unique project even for us, right? So the thing about us, we have an in-house subject matter expert as well. He's focusing on prefabrication. So he brings a lot of knowledge and expertise to the table, right? So we aim, it's not just necessarily the BIM team, but there's also someone who's very familiar with prefabrication, mass timber. So we just combine all the levels of knowledge and the technology.
Do you have any number about number of coatings you have? Like, do you have any report of that?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but I remember when we went to jobs when they were actually about a few months ago. I asked that question, like, did you have to core a lot? At the time, they said maybe one or two, not much. Yeah, so that was very nice to hear. But I don't have the most recent number, but that was the general feedback. Yeah.
Maybe I can help with that. I work for NRSO, which was the.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
It's Andre.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were told by the site team that they only need to core one bathroom group.
Just one? Okay, there you go. So I was wrong. I said two. So. That's good. That's good. Yeah. So yeah, NRSoft was our mechanical trade partner. They model all the plumbing and HVAC. So thank you.
What do you see as the biggest challenge on that program for BIM validation?
On this project or on general?
Just on that program.
I wasn't involved day to day, but so I can only speak from the BIM side.
Right.
Just getting all the changes implemented in a timely. That's the thing about Revit till this day, right? I'm sure some of you experience like just to make those changes. Sometimes it can be time consuming, right? To keep up with a whole bunch of design changes. So I would think that's not anybody's fault. It's just the way Revit works today, right? It's not the most efficient tool. The way I think still needs some work done. So.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Well, that's it. That was our first event. So please, food is here. Stay for networking. Try to talk to someone that you don't know maybe. And yeah, thanks so much for coming. I will put back the link to our form so we can get your input. If I can find it. I guess this one. I'll put it on here, and please let us know. So if you want to be engaged, if you want to present, if you want to host, so we are open to any help that we can get. And with that, I guess the kitchen is open. Thank you.
They just did a flash like a overlay and the catch up that's the argument,
Thanks. Oh, no problem. Thanks.
Yeah,
like very.
I think
so actually, I guess I need to send you one of my
and also like
which was
oh yeah, minimize,
you know. So I would like to, yeah. So we started.
That in itself is
going after it, finding the issue and coming back. There was not anything. And the other thing that I think very valuable to share with people is the fact that you can save the rules. So you create the rule once, and then you can go from one model to the other. It doesn't matter. It's just model with to make their bylaws readable, so they can compare it to this in the US and have some
I've heard of Finland. I haven't heard of the States yet.
I think somewhere in Arizona somebody's trying to do that. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it was highly, so it's one issue is that the bylaws are not working readable. So there is some effort but once it's actually readable, you need proof. You don't need just This link
You can do
That's where you can say, well, show me everything that happens in the office. We work, we're in data. Classification.
5 people.
I
It's very deep for us.
It allows you to, whatever data comes in, you can handle it one way or the other.
So do you understand much of it? A little bit?
Yeah, it's a lot, right? Because like, but then, and it's a lot of it.
And now we have like the plastic part. That I think that's more they usually press. Even if you're a star player, yeah, like I explored it. I've never actually read it. I did some stuff in looks like not much of that stuff. No, because like you can buy like so there are this is separate license. I don't know. Well, I'm sure.
That way, even if you use themselves.
I know right now all that have like flex licenses, like token licenses, like flex tokens. So you can like subscribe to a certain amount of tokens a month. Every session that you use more tokens. I don't know exactly how it works. I only saw the pricing scheme. I only saw the pricing scheme like on all of that.
That's kind of neat, but the amount of times I've extracted that video into this game, I use like 5 W a day for project.
Yeah, I know.
You have to literally set aside time to do that.
But I think
that we do this.
But like the amount, the minimum amount, top of it in that course, I guess I don't know what to do. So it should be enough for one person. I think it's a small team. Like if you have a small team, you don't want to commit to a whole license. Or like one license each person. There's one license for each. Like not for small companies. Oh yeah. I think sometimes I think it's more small companies or contractors. You might have like people bouncing one person is working on something. It's like how some engineers program. Isn't it? But it's well, single idea. Because like I think we supply by share.
Bernad, where's outside? Not only for you. Because when I sent the email about who's reading this, only people responded was like Daniel, me, and
Well, because at that time, like, wasn't doing a lot with like.
fair enough. I'm not saying.
But like, now I'm getting more like and I actually find it quite useful to find actual things I need to pick out. What do you say?
I think it's a good way to not caught up a little. And then, yeah, you know.
And that's lucky enough.
Did he? He's just here for Solibri. He was here for Solibri because I think he mentioned that he imitated.
First presentation.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Everyone's testing each other in some these days. Yeah, man, where? Like an automated thing.
So if you we have a way that we can handle so it takes this there was somebody who actually not the analytical, not exactly where you know how from analytical to analytical, and then really what humanity does is set that point because at the top of generation to top from there. So basically,
They're working on
so insert that that right now we only do out of box. So basically, draw a line for you, and put it on.
But the things that you call so you pick your brain that's completely the wrong way.
No, that's correct. It's like denoting at the top of each rabbit. Make this right right on top of the thing. So you have the lines on each other before you offset the bricks on. So now you have with a face right on it, and that's how to look at it. Like, what is this steps?
It's all along the speed. Why?
Yeah, or taking all the. Then you kind of have this location section. See what's in there.
But can't you put it legend that you can go to?
Or wait, I think it doesn't actually, when they draw the line, it doesn't show the line.
Or is it just like,
If you hide the point, you'll see the practice, because we are set in there. So you see the line, because your beams on top of it. So it's like, you don't see that beam going. So I think one way maybe to work around it is to maybe beams have a symbolic line offset that you can do. Offset those beams by X amount and then put the zero dimension. Maybe on it to get Especially if my work is get ready for one way to mitigate that maybe is put a third dimension, like third dimension technical, going through that configuration, and then you just leave the rest, or do one each end.
I'm just talking to Puya. I did my master's.
That's two. Was there another one?
My background is I'm trying to implement
It was
destination.
we were saying like
The main idea is taking IFs and estimating how.
that one I was
Okay, so one good
And I think Ledcor has
considering
and unfortunately, that we have BC like that for information on this.
manual one.
Just thinking
Manual.
oh I don't
Well, they have better things to do
couldn't paint it on it, but every time they remove it, they will have to repaint it.
Next couple of years.
But usually they make all the wire around the company, and
I think this is a
niche, like a double indicator.
Has been a lot of promises.
Always really lost this indicator. Don't go past this line.
You ever saw it? They tried to put a small street on the ground. Feet off the ground. The forward street would just catch it.
Yeah. You hit the floor before it formed. How much slack?
No slack.
Yeah, we.
Why not just I like to
why?
They want to stand forward street.
Do that black box captured in that you can see that goes exactly.
Like a lot of the breaks work, and then you have like but the second time down the opening, and then you have the
Although technically I have a new project,
I'm trying my best.
Yesterday I asked them whether I can use They're saying they're
I kind of get this argument. Yes, we can take it kind of off. Yes, an open work center. I know some people do it. It really depends on what they do. We had a
I'll think about it. But then where would I put that? Just choose one.
Because like the fact that sometimes it's like You can choose the face, but it doesn't obey face. Like, why would you cut before your face? Like, come on. Do you not? Is it not? But you would think like, no, the question I tried to offset it. It would not let me. I know. Picture. But then I have to the good love. I had written something. Well, I got meaningful issues.
So do you guys have to set up for the platform?
In the Expo now? There's a lot of people can build us getting right. Like for you, like engineering, you probably don't get much. Right. Yeah. For us, you have everything.
Not can. Although they sound like nothing but.
Our company is at our convention. Oh, you're there?
So I think.
Hey Joe. Yes. So Solibri, do you do network licenses generally? Do you know?
Yeah, like it's I meant to feature that, but so little time. It's their network licenses, so you can share one throughout the whole office.
Right. And it's a monthly sort of.
Well, it's a yearly subscription. There might be a monthly, but it's yearly.
What's the yearly?
It's about 4,500. No, especially if you can share it. Like no one's really bringing 40 hours a week.
They should be.
I hope not. Like, why would you be crashing all day every day?
Well, depends what you work for, I guess. If you don't want to do that, yeah.
Or you are?
Unless you're,
Who's the primary?
I guess, like, helping multiple projects.
Or you're an architect?
No, structural engineer. Yeah. I got asked the other day, oh, how do you do your coordination? I'm like, manually. Put all of it in and then go check for it. I'm like, there's got to be a better way, right? And that's where you guys come in, probably, right?
It's still a conversation for us, like, but
So you just doing Revit?
Right now, yeah.
I hope I didn't offend you today.
No, of course
That's all right.
Because like,
She's like, that's all right.
It's all right.
Because, like,
I know what the limitations are.
I think because
Like,
I've been working.
is it an enjoyable experience?
It's a love and hate relationship. I need it, I don't like it. It makes my life miserable.
It is classic.
I would assume you will be the one setting all the business.
But that's basically, sort of like our industry, right? It's just like, the things you want to do right is the things that will make you miserable as well. Because it requires more work to do, unless you try to automate it.
mostly consultants.
So, yeah. Yeah, primarily.
The beauty of with Solibri is once you create the rules, like I showed creating the rules, which is the hardest part of Solibri. Once they're created, then you can just keep running them. So you're taking your brain and you're converting it into rules.
And that's stored on the network license. The rules, so you have one person creating it, and everyone on that network.
Yeah, yeah. So the rules
Are your rules based on your project or your set of
both. Usually Solibri is part of the rules that you create are usually embedded in the project, but then you can also have a shared resource where there's somewhere outside.
Also, it's something similar to like share forever and Revit, where you clash.
You don't want to create rules for every project.
Or some other projects where it's not really heavy. The consultants are.
It's another way.
Yeah.
If you ever need a demo, reach out to me.
Gotcha.
We can't really, we have limited.
You find information on the website?
Ability
Can I find your information on the website?
Yeah,
Some of they are.
Sure, and then
they don't have enough.
I'll just add you guys to my LinkedIn and then I'll.
Limited, so they don't want to. So on the platform you had to.
He's the BIM manager.
I don't think it's a team.
I escaped it, but I don't think. Yeah. Thank you for getting all of us up there. Yeah, it was good. So you will associate too.
That's no, John the best there.
Oh, you're thinking that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long you do it?
I should look like that.
There are quite a few master leads in.
I know. I'm well aware.
Now they're finding it, they're looking at it away.
And then they trace it over there.
Yeah, there is someone to show me.
You take our development and make it more efficient. Let's say everything like 90%, and they trace it out, and then we just use theirs. So like Revit, so just look at their models and
That's good.
lot of times it's a tug of war of how much information we're sharing about things they see that they are not getting on the computer. Right? It's like you export it to people. There's nothing. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with you.
Can we not?
What happened? Okay, fine. So they can tell us, oh, here, I don't know if this happened. I don't know.
Maybe I should just break down the line. Sure. I'll take a picture of that. Sure.
You don't want to sign it
This all the way?
Yeah,
I'll
when I said, yes, I can share online with you, but if I have to sign this form.
You can turn your live files into the IFC.
Because Michael did, from our company, did mention that they're talking about Solibri. So that's why he was here. So that got us interested.
I guess he left early.
So he left right after
I noticed someone looked kind of like tense a little bit. So maybe I didn't do very good. Okay, that's cool.
So we're not talking about.
Yeah, I think one problem is, at least, I don't know anywhere else, but like, a lot of these classes actually have done like the time consuming of it, that they handle most of it. More or less hands-off on it quite a bit. So it would be nice if you could do some internal checks see what's actually is clashing with that we care about.
Because it's our decision.
Like I have a video on where I have like 100 columns, and one of them doesn't touch the beam, you know?
Oh.
And it's like, which one of these 100 doesn't touch the beam? Right. Well, you can never find it.
And then the other one is for our.
But there is a parameter that a thing must touch a thing above it.
Okay.
Or a thing must touch a thing below it.
Right.
So to me, that's a good thing for structure.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I can find the column, 1 out of 100, with a very simple rule.
So someone, let's say, really crappy at the job, give you a model. Does that screw up your parameters? They would say they auto call level 1 to 2. Instead of the kitchen level 2, the length of the roof, and it's minus 10,000. You know what I mean? Like they're just all the parameters are just off. Does that make does that create like a sort of
that point.
I guess like it
yeah, like are you how dependent I guess are you on the input file being directly monitored?
I'm like, this is not my scope.
When it brings the models in, it does some magic. So it does
I am happy to
suss things out.
Find those levels.
You know, like the names. I'll have to try that to see if the names of the level being different have a difference. But ultimately, it's going to throw the data in geospatially. Right. Now, if the parameters are off, like with ArchiCAD, there's a problem that a wall, like you can use a wall create. It doesn't have to be a wall. It could be a little parapet, or it could be anything vertical. It could be a footing, or like a beam. Could be a piece of decorative stuff. Yeah, not the beam. In ArchiCAD, it's a beam, but in real life, it's not. So yeah, obviously, very poor IFCs. you're gonna struggle. But if there's just neat rough edges, then you just have to adjust your classification. Because after I classified all the data through that classification, it'll show me everything not classified. And change the formula or your classification to include it, or you just shove it in something. You say, this stuff I'm going to manually shove it in. Yeah. So, there's always a way, I mean, there's a way to fix some of that. But, you know, if something's really, really bad, you might have trouble getting anything useful out of it.
Yeah, sometimes you get like really bad architectural models where you just like, so if we're putting that in, they're gonna create this vast amount of flash because it's some kind of tiny.
When things do get, I mean, when things get converted to IFC, it goes to a common language. So the data gets commonized. It'd be like if you were trying to calculate how much some gravel would cost, and one company is 35 cents a yard, and the other is $50 a ton. Well, right? So which is a better deal? Well, you don't know, because they're both calculated differently. So you need to commonize it to the lowest common denominator. So when you say to IFC, that is one of the advantages, is that you're, I mean, hopefully they're doing it in some logical way, but it's commonizing the data to the lowest common denominator. But the fact that Solibri will also reveal that you have these data problems. So depending where you are in the food chain, you might be able to request that they do it different or demand they do it different.
Would they tell you that on your import?
No, but you can check for properties that aren't right, properties that are missing. Or you can do an IDS check, which is like you predetermine what data you want, and then you check it against that. But if you're working for the architect, good luck. like you're done. Like you won't be able to tell them do a better job. I don't think. No. And who else? Do you work for architects ever?
A lot of times.
Yeah, I know. So you need to have me come and visit them and straighten things up.
Okay, I'll give you the address.
Yeah.
Bang on the door.
This is for no reason. Yeah. The only universal principle is that engineers can't tell architects what's better.
Yeah.
That's the only universal law in the universe.
That is universal truth.
That's universal truth.
Yeah.
I was asking how many of us here from an architectural firm, because we need to know that number.
No.
Are you? Are we offending you right now?
No, that's actually I'm from construction management.
Because until now, like they asked
That might be
That's a mystic art. Every time I ask about how they calculate that stuff, I get more confused and I just stop asking.
I just see the pretty colors, so I'm like, oh great.
Yeah. I don't know, I can't grasp it.
It's both a science and the art, I think.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy energy modeling?
Yeah, actually my research is about BIM and BIM, BIM and building energy modeling. But the thing is that I don't have case studies, right? Yeah, I'm working for the basis.
Yeah.
We do have cases. Like someone I don't know if passive house project, PC housing. Yeah. And it's work as well. So they're doing good in terms of modeling, but the thing is that still energy modeler is very isolated from the design team. And if we include it in the BIM process, it can be more, some more engagements. But the thing is that because of the interoperability issues, it's very difficult to get their engagements. Yeah. Hopefully I can find cases studies, I don't know.
shop drawing.
Yeah, I hope that works out.
They want to be able to get the coordinate from it. Like, this is.
We're so nerdy. We don't think she's gonna get any answer. Oh, good.
Slay that dragon.
That's exactly the part that I asked you was.
Yeah.
The 2CAD file is not
Oh.
sharing. That's it.
Yeah, that was right. That is just the way that they're sitting on this. They were right here. So that makes it really
No, thanks.
That was
No,
exported. Or you just remove the.
just remove this system.
If you're importing the IC.
I know. Right, that's what essentially that's what.
But then how do you check against massive schedule?
No, you just let it go with port.
All the days
before they each column, where does it go?
Right.
How? Well, that's one. Yeah, so on and so forth. That's
We're looking good. How we can-
Yeah, because like we have
We're
a-
considering it, we're like, how does that work for us?
Because like the recent thing in our office is that because in the past we don't really do that many categorizations. Healthcare, school, and stuff like that. One of the things that did came up recently is that we have a kind of a dormitory project coming up, and they want to do like some sort of a graphical schedule, but then in Revit, at least a column graphical schedule. Every change you make, just spill another column. Make your schedule like 3 pages long or something like that. So yeah, like even like off by like a millimeter, it will actually populate another column. Say a new location, this column mark has this column at this height. So it will actually end up spewing like 3-page long schedule. Yeah, so we not in favor of doing that, so we're trying to find a happy medium, maybe like some sort of drafted schedule, but we also need to find a way to check against the model part to make sure that what it says on that drafted schedule is what actually modeled in our building. So we're trying to troubleshoot that right now. So wondering if software like Solibri will can it enable to do that? Or so okay, so the example would be, say we have about 15 column types, and each column type only it goes from like say P2 to let's say level 5. Some will be from level 1 to level 10, and then some might be on higher levels only. And then basically we want to double check against like, does this column type goes to that level, or like it's still within that column, that level range. And then if it doesn't, and it deviates from our schedule, then where did it go? Did it get reduced, expanded, or?
I see. So are you filling in the schedule manually?
Yes.
Yeah.
At least that's the thinking path right now, because like there's no way to do that for walls, because they want to do for both walls and columns. So in Revit, there's only a graphical column schedule, not a graphical wall schedule. So for the wall, we definitely have to draft it somehow. But with a column, I guess in a way we could do the built-in, but again, every change, because if say a column, one column goes to another side of slab, one column goes to another side of a slab band, it's different height, and it'll create another column. So that's not what we want. We want to consolidate a group schedule. So at the end of the day, we probably have to be forced to do some sort of drafted schedule. So I'm just trying to troubleshoot a way to able to say come in, help the team check if the model information lines up with that information.
Yeah, I don't think Solibri would have a rule set up, rule to do that.
Okay.
Because you're comparing data and it doesn't really do that.
Okay.
Yeah. That sounds really brutal.
Yeah, we kind of got told that like for at least high rise building, that's what the contractors are looking for.
Say thank you for
that's what we're told, that they like to see that, because like what we've been doing in the past, even for like some of the hospital tower, we've been doing like a grouped conventional standard schedule, and just group it by levels and then just list out what the reinforcement is and so on and so forth. But apparently people who like the contractor that does high rises don't like to see those schedules. So we've been told that like we need to do some sort of graphical schedule so they can at a glance look at where everything goes and make our life a little harder. Let's put it that way.
Well, everything's so automated in Revit, and then you go and have to blow it up by doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Something manual, it's just painful.
Yeah, no, it is like, why?
It's just like
I resisted to doing that for quite a while. I know some of my team members actually outright refuse to do that, but I think like because that one product that's coming up, that's what the contractor are looking for. So, and it's a kind of a contract, like a GC-led project kind of thing. So it's something that we have to accommodate, I guess. So trying to troubleshoot that at the moment.
But it's not for it to just create a race the end. Or
yeah, because like right now it's a very manual process where like I need to make basically a master schedule of all the columns and then check manually to see if the start and end level is the correct. So it's quite painful.
Wow, yeah. Well, I can't solve that one, I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay. It was a long shot.
I know. But good luck with that.
Yeah, I know.
Keep on going. You got it, buddy. You're the man for this job.
No kidding.
I love that.
Yeah.
We just invented that. Just giving people false hope. Not just giving them like
yeah, just keep going.
Just you're on to it. The good thing is that you feel so good screwing people over.
Well, we're not trying to screw them over.
No.
We actually wish them the best.
But we're not really helping them either, let's be honest.
No, we're not like, oh, screw this person. I know they're individually wrong.
I feel like you're just this close to a breakthrough.
Well, should we get going? Nice to meet you, Joe.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys, yeah.
Thank you for presenting.
Yeah, it was lovely presenting. It was informative. We'll take a look to see if we could use it. Yeah, I think so. We'll network like this. I definitely want it. Let's see what the higher ups say.
Take the nice ones, yeah. If it looks ugly, then. That's why they want to take I'll take these three. We're just gonna have to transfer some of this.
Thank you.